Good morning, people. Hope we are good. Welcome back to the YouTube. So it is 5:43 on Friday, the 1st of May. So you'll probably watch this on the 2nd, but what I wanted to do was just run you all through a full day of eating on my reverse diet. Obviously, I'm 3 weeks post my photo shoot, so the reverse diet is fully active right now. So food has came up from baseline. I checked in this morning. I took some pictures this morning. I'm going to send those across to Morgs. We're doing a little bit of a weekly reference point just to see where we are away from the actual main check-in at the end of the week. So I was 73.8 this morning. So body weight is came up around about a kilo in 3 weeks, there or thereabouts, from what my weight was at its lightest, which was on the shoot morning. So realistically, I was hovering around the sort of low 73s the majority of the final stint prior to the actual shoot happening. So body weight hasn't moved a great deal. I have been struggling, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, just with an overall feeling of fatigue, tiredness, very up and down in terms of mood. Training, I haven't really been able to get back to where I would like to be in terms of that full intensity. Now, it was an intense diet. It was tough. Morgs took over the reins about 5 weeks out, and it was hard going. We wanted to unlock new levels. We managed to deliver on that. But yeah, it was tough. So yeah, there's probably a combination of things. It does make you feel a little bit frustrated, but we've just got to ride it out. Fats came up a little bit the other day as well, and we're just hoping over the weekend I'm gonna rest today where I would usually train. I am gonna go and train with a friend up in Newcastle tomorrow, so we're gonna enjoy, which is going to be a really nice warm day this afternoon in the UK. So just going to enjoy a bit of downtime. I'm going to get a haircut and a freshen up this morning. So going to crack on with that. I've done a little bit of work this morning, a little bit of personal development. But yeah, fats have been brought up. So I thought I would run you through a full day of eating on a reverse diet. The rest day and the training day diet is pretty much the same in terms of calories. There's just a slight difference to one of the meals, basically. And apart from that, it's pretty much the exact same diet. So I'll take you along for the ride with the meals, and just show you them in prepared form throughout the day. Like I say, going to grab a haircut, got a client call at 11 a.m. Need to film some content and stuff as well, and then I'm hoping I can get in the garden and enjoy a little bit of sun. But yeah, we went out for a walk yesterday morning, so we were up at 2:20 a.m. Drove over at the Lake District and climbed Helvellyn. So we managed to get a really good. We didn't catch the actual sunrise as such, but we were up there for before 7 a.m. So it was about 6:30, and we caught some really nice views. So yeah, it was definitely worthwhile. But we were battered when we came back yesterday. Neither of us had walked for a while, so the legs and the knees and the ankles and the back is definitely feeling it today. So probably wasn't the wisest idea when I haven't been feeling great. But like you can't just sit around and wait for this feeling to pass. You do have to sort of battle through it to a certain degree, and the physique's looking good. I'm happy with where it is, and now it's just about entering continuing with the reversal phase, keeping things fairly sensible as much as I can, trying to control the calorie intake as much as I can, trying to lead from the front in that space. And then it's going to be very much just about being more of a lifestyle client, start to incorporate some running again. I haven't been able to run for weeks because it got pulled out about 3 weeks before the shoot, and then I've just spent the time after the shoot feeling in the bin as well. So yeah, hasn't been ideal in that space. You come out the end of a photo shoot, you just want to get going, but sometimes you do just have to listen to what it is that your body is telling you, and hopefully we're seeing signs of things starting to improve and come round, and come Monday we can hit it hard where I'm going in the gym, because Monday and Tuesday I felt pretty good. I didn't train to all out intensity, but I was probably about 1 rep in reserve, and then I went in on Wednesday and trained legs. Started the session, felt okay, just did 1 set of hack squat, didn't even push to full failure, and I was just like, wow, like I am spent. Like my energy was just completely drained and gone, which wasn't a good feeling, because I love to train. Like, I genuinely do love to train. That is the bit for me that I absolutely love and adore. And to not be able to train at max capacity is frustrating, and I think that's what's affecting my mood, definitely. But we are where we are. Let's see how the next few days evolve. Like I say, I'm gonna crack on with a little bit of client work now. Meal one won't go in till probably, with it being a rest day, probably by the time I get back from my haircut, about 9:45 realistically. So quite a long period of time from waking up at 4:50 to not eating at 9:50, but that's how I like it. I've got my CV Burn by Train by JP, the absolute goat in my opinion. If you don't know, get to know rather than your coffee. CV Burn is the one for me. It's got the caffeine in there. It gives me that little spike in energy on the morning. I have a litre of water first, and then I crack on and drink that. So yeah, enough rambling for this stint. I will probably see you for meal one. So unfortunately, the haircut didn't go to plan. It's a nightmare when you go to a barber's and you don't need to book an appointment. It's like an old school Turkish, Kurdish, they call themselves, barbers. And usually I rock up there just before it opens. I get straight in with the guy and everything's fine. But this morning, there was a bloke outside at 5 to 9 and I got there at 56. So he was first to get his haircut. I thought the owner, who's probably the best barber there, and the other guy that I go to, I thought they would both be starting at 9, but I was then told that he wouldn't start till 9:30, which meant I would have had to wait half an hour to get my haircut, then a 45-minute haircut, and I just thought, you know what, I can't be fucking nice with this. So yeah, I've came back haircutless, unfortunately, but I'm going to go back down in the morning and see whether I can get it cut. It opens at 8:30 tomorrow morning, so I'll just get there early again and just see whether I can get it cut. So you can't win them all, can you, at the end of the day? I'm just on with making my morning gut drink that I thought I'd walk you through. So I take 20 millilitres of turmeric and ginger apple cider vinegar. So I just put that into water. What I do is I just sort of fill a 200 millilitre, it's about a 330 millilitre glass. 3/4 of it with just normal water, and then I top it up with some kettle water, so the water's like lukewarm. With glutamine and apple cider vinegar, there's a lot of studies that say taking it with slightly warmer water than like standard temperature is the way to go. So that is what I like to do. Next up is L-glutamine. L-glutamine is really good, taken on an empty stomach to aid in the gut lining. So I take in 15 grams of that daily every single morning. And then the final thing is ginger powder. Again, just helping create a good environment to be able to digest the food. So I just take that trio every single morning. And then I'm going to be cracking on with my egg-based breakfast very soon, which I'll show you the finished product of that when it comes. So we're here with meal one. Why is it every time I prepare food and eat with something like this, whether it's a full day of eating for the Instagram or the YouTube, the food just looks like an absolute dog's dinner? But we've got meal one here. So we've got 75 grams of sourdough bread. I'll bring it around here. 75 grams of sourdough bread, some veg out of meal 2 into meal 1, so just some tomatoes, mushrooms, bit of kimchi for some gut health, 2 whole eggs, 200 millilitres of egg whites, and then 25 grams of avocado. So some fats have gone into the diet, 50 grams with my minced meal, 50 grams of avocado. Morgs has said it's fine to be able to jump between that and feta, but it is quite a bit of a lot of avocado in one sitting. So what I've done is I've just added a little bit to the egg meal on this occasion. So 25 grams of avocado going into this meal as well. And I'll put a little bit of sugar-free ketchup on that. So I'll put the macro breakdown of the meal here. Pretty decent meal. Like obviously the sourdough's been brought up since we reversed out. It was obviously carb-free during my dieting phase. It was only a small amount of egg whites and it was a fucking measly meal. It's like sub 200 calories. So this will be about double that now, which is great. So yeah, hunger's still present. I'm still hungry in between meals. Struggling like hell on an evening with the sweet tooth cravings. I'm not going to lie. That's a tough one. Especially having a yogurt bowl pre-bed. It's like, oh, you just want more. And yeah, it's coming out the end of an aggressive diet. Hunger is always going to be present, but this is when we need to lean in. We've got to get it done. We've got to stay nice and lean, keep the body nice and responsive. And, you know, I've got to make sure that I'm leading from the front in everything that I do, really. So, yeah, but I'm only human at the end of the day, right, as well. So I still get the exact same feelings as clients. And I like to share that as well with clients and let them know, you know, I'm not a robot by any stretch of the imagination. So, going to get this meal in. Obviously, wasn't able to get my hair cut, so I'm going to jump in the shower, freshen up. I've got a call with a client at 11. I'm going to get crack on with some content. And then, yeah, it's 23, 24 degrees forecast here. So, hopefully, take a little bit of downtime this afternoon. And, yeah, just show you the meals as we go through, really. Meal 2 is upon us. So we have got 140 gram of cooked weight chicken, so 180 in raw weight, 125 gram of salad and vegetables, and then 238 calories worth of rice. But I've used Costa and Malika's small tortilla wraps, which are 117 calories each. Toast them in the pan either side, and they literally come out like an actual flatbread, and they've got no junk in them at all either. So I basically just macro matched rice out for wraps because it's a nice day. Going to get sat in the garden and enjoy the rays for a little while. So yeah, that's meal 2 going down. Right, meal number 3 going down. Looking a little bit sun-kissed right now. What have we got here? We've actually got what would usually be my final meal of the day. I've just had a little bit of a change round of meals. I don't recommend this on training days to clients. I always try and keep those meals fixed in place. But on a rest day, you know, it doesn't matter a massive amount when we are getting the meals in and what order we're doing it in. So just a bit of a change round the day. With it being a nicer day, I went for a pro-fat meal, which would usually be my last meal. So it is yogurt, 200 grams, got a little bit of ESN flavour powder in there, 20 grams of whey. I'm currently on this vibe at the minute. It's expensive stuff, the ESN stuff, to be fair, but every now and again they do have it on a discount. It's cinnamon cereal whey, so it's got little bits of little things in it. I've got that one and the Leon cereal one, and they're both very, very nice, to be fair, in a paste. Fruit. So 125 grams total of fruit. Morgs gives me like 100 grams float of fruit that I can allocate throughout the day, or 100 calories worth. So this would usually be 100 grams, but I've just topped it up a little bit. So I've got some cherries in there, dark cherries from Tesco, from Aldi at 10.10, some berries, some cinnamon pink salt, and then 20 grams of sweet and salty peanut butter. So yeah, a pretty decent meal. Like I say, just been enjoying some sun this afternoon because we don't get much of it in the UK, to be fair. So all is good in that space. Got back to some client messages. One thing I definitely want to touch on just quickly is training intensity. Like I say, anyone can give you a plan, but quite often the plan is not the issue. It's your ability to execute and apply yourself properly to the plan. And, you know, I did this discussion with a new client recently around the speed of time we're getting through workouts, and I'm very good at picking up on the fact that, you're not leaving long enough between sets. And if you're not leaving long enough between sets, you're not training fucking hard enough. Like, that is the top and bottom of it. And for me, intensity is the thing that is going to stimulate muscle growth and keep the muscle around in a dieting phase. Far too many people are in the gym going through the motions, they're distracted, they're not training anywhere near their max capacity, and you might be going for your mental health, that's great, but you are wasting your time if you're not applying yourself, if you're not giving your body a reason to change, if you're never getting into that red zone with sets where you finish in a set and you're feeling fried, then you think, God, I have to go back in again and do that again, and you're pushing the limits of what you're capable of, whether you're training to build muscle or not. Even if you're just training for longevity, we know the more muscle mass that you've got on your frame, the better your longevity is going to be long term. So that should always be the goal for me when you're going into a gym, to be challenging yourself and challenging your capabilities and seeing what you can actually squeeze out your training. Quite often the desire should never be scale weight. Like, scale weight will sit in the background and it will dictate the phase we are in. But what we actually want to see is the body composition changing. You and anyone else, doesn't care how much you weigh. It's about how you look. That is the most important thing. So, yeah, something to bear in mind on that one. I'm going to get stuck into this, chill out for a little bit, and I'll catch you for the next one. Meal 4 going down. It's a loud one because we're cooking at the moment in the kitchen. Say hello, Sam. Yo. So, meal 4 is tremendous. I'm just on with it now. Got mince. I've got oats that I've cooked off in the pan. So when I'm hungry, I'll do this to volumise the oats a lot more, so get a hell of a lot out of that. Hot water and doing your oats in the pan is a game changer. If you're still fucking about with a microwave, park it up. Boiling water in the pan literally takes a couple of minutes to come together, and the oats just go such a nicer texture in general. Got some 85 or 90% dark chocolate, 15 grams, 80 grams of banana, and then we've got the whey drip again. I just realised there was still powder in the bottom of the whey there, if you can see it. So I mix it up into a little paste and put it in the freezer for a few minutes. I've actually made it a little bit too runny. You do want it a little bit thicker than that. What I usually do is I usually measure out the water, but instead I just went over at the tap and added it bit by bit and ended up overdoing it. So I'll show you the finished product. So here we have it, the finished article. Absolutely full to the brim of the whey drip. Very, very nice meal. Keeps me satiated before I have my final meal of the evening. Probably have that about 7:30. Try and eat about 90 minutes pre-bed. There's a lot of signs around up to 3 hours, but for me it's just a little bit too long when you're trying to get in 5 meals a day. I could definitely eat the meals in that time frame, but I would probably go to bed feeling pretty hungry. So scrap that. Sometimes you have to remove optimal for what you know works for you and your lifestyle, and this is a good way for me to get the meals in. So I'm going to devour this now, crack on. Got a little bit more work to do, and then potentially nip out and go and get some more steps in. Right, so last meal is getting prepared. And it is lean beef mince. We've got a mixture of white potato and sweet potato. Should have got it out really and made it first, shouldn't I, before I started telling you about it. Clip this on here. Proper fucking amateur. Yeah, some nice fibre, nice bit of volume pre-bed. Got the mince cooking off here with a little bit of vegetables as well. And then I alluded to earlier, I've got 50 grams of avocado in my plan. But Morgs has said he doesn't mind if I do avocado or feta. So I had 25 grams of my avocado in my first meal. And I'm going to finish off now with 17 grams of feta in my last meal. If I can find the scales. I've now got the scales. So I'm just going to weigh that out quickly now. Put the plate on first. Taking me a bit of time to get in this bag and sort this feta out here. Rinse the fingers because it's covered in feta. And that is the final meal. So we've got lean beef mince, we've got some red onion, some courgette in there, and some white potato and sweet potato topped with a little bit of feta. So that is me. So yeah, decent amount of food. I'll put the totals for the day on the screen. Obviously hunger's still high. I do get 100 grams of 100 calories worth of fruit. So Sam, because she's dieting at the minute, has been having watermelon. So I'm gonna have 125 grams of watermelon, which again is just high in volume, probably like 30 calories realistically. So I'm utilizing things like potato, oats, watermelon, things that are going to keep me fuller for longer. That is what you always want when you're out the end of a diet. How can you volumize the meals within reason? Don't be fucking stupid and absolutely batter your digestive system, because when you're just plowing in loads and loads of veg and loads of things like that, you know, it can mess your digestion up a little bit. So it is about getting that balance right. Putting some Celtic sea salt on there. It is about getting that balance right. But yeah, when you are trying to put on size, you want to make the meals as dense as you can. You want to keep the stomach as tight as you can to be able to get the calories in. But then when you're in a reversal phase or a dieting phase, you're trying to do the opposite. You're trying to volumize the meals. Why do we want to volumize the meals? Because our body doesn't recognize the calories it's eating. What it recognizes the volume of food that it's consuming. So obviously protein is important. My protein is pretty high. I'm upwards on the end of nearly 3 grams per kilo of body weight. That works well for me. I like being sitting around that mark. That digests well. I don't have any issues consuming that. So that is what I run with really. So yeah, that's all of the meals wrapped up. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll be back with you all very soon. Peace.